joining me is Miranda Guliashvili, Head of Regional Growth at SOFTSWISS. Welcome, Miranda. How does it feel to be at Sigma Africa 2026?
Thank you for inviting. It's always pleasure to be involved in such interviews. Thank you for Sigma for this opportunity. This exhibition is one of the main one for us in Africa, so I feel very much excited.
We're happy to have you. Now, you look after regional growth, which can mean very different things depending on the market. When you're entering or scaling in a new jurisdiction, what are the first three things you look at before deciding whether it's really worth the effort?
I think the expansion in the region is a very complex thing to do. So we look at a lot of things, but I'll try to concentrate into the main ones. First of all, I would say it's the size of the market. We go into the small details such as GDP per capita, the population, demographics. So we just basically size and measure the country's possibilities with the easy things as I mentioned. Second thing would be the already existing competition on the market. So, who are the main operators on the market? Who are the main players? Who are the main competitors of ours in general? So, this is important for us to understand with which product we should enter and how we should enter, so to define the strategy in general. And third part would be like the regulation, because the regulation is toughest thing for the software provider in order to, I don't know, to fit into it. We need to know every details of this regulation. So this could be the third main thing that we measure if it's worthy for us to enter the market or not.
Fantastic. Now, Africa is referred to as one big emerging market, but the reality on the ground is the jurisdictions vary wildly differently from each other. So, from your experience so far, which assumptions about the African market tends to be wrong when you actually start working here?
I believe there is a lot of assumptions about the Africa in general. One of them being is that people look at to African continent as a one market, when in reality it consists of a lot of countries, and all of them, even though they might be neighboring countries, all of them have different approach, different strategy, totally different maturity of the gambling market in general. For example, South Africa is pretty mature as a gambling market, but when in reality, some of the markets are emerging and they don't have a regulation at all, or it's in a starting position. So that's the main wrong assumption from the people's perspective. So we need to look at to Africa as a continent which consists of a lot of opportunities, and all of them are individual.
Fantastic. Now, everyone is talking about retention, and the tools and levers that work in Europe don't always work everywhere else. So, what have you learned about player behavior in new markets that challenge the way many suppliers and operators still design their products?
Yeah, I believe definitely the EU market will not work at all in African markets or in emerging markets at all, because they like the different approach. And in total, I would say they're kind of spoiled, because all the regulators or the operators, they're trying to take care of the players, because this is the main thing that the company is driven by, right? So for the retention, especially we were talking about it earlier, the World Cup coming, it's important to think about not just fast promotion, but also the retention. Because I would say on the emerging markets where a lot of things are upcoming and is new, it's important to concentrate on the loyal side rather than like flashing promotions. So I would say that we need to listen to the players, to the bettors, what they like, and then suggest thoroughly, not just very aggressively.
Fantastic. And lastly, if you look ahead, maybe let's say 3 to 5 years, which regions do you think are most likely to surprise the industry in terms of growth and innovation? And what should companies be doing now if they don't want to be late to that party?
That's the question that we mostly think about all the time. We're trying to predict what will be the next trend, what will be the country that will launch the new regulation, what will be the new law. And thinking about this, I believe it will be Southeast Asia, but it's kind of hard to say because the market is totally unknown in a way that it's not discovered by the regulation side. So it's hard to say, but those markets are pretty good and pretty like big, that have potential to have something as an iframe for the people to understand if it's worthy of investing and going or not. So it has a big opportunity. That's the one take. And I believe second take would be Africa as well. I believe some smaller countries compared to Nigeria or Kenya or South Africa will slowly start to have their own approach and will try to, I don't know, attract the new investors because there is a potential, even though they are small. If you compare to, I don't know, some European countries, there is a worth inside in any ways.
Fantastic. Now, thank you so much for your time, and we're always happy to have soft food with us. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me as well. Appreciate the invitation.